Hi, I'm Steve Cruz. I'm chair of the Princeton Pedestrian Bicyclist Advisory Committee. Today I'd like to just take you through a little presentation showing what some of our goals are, what's our vision for the bicycle network in Princeton, and what we're working to achieve. On this page we have a map showing an overview of some of the features of bicycling in the region. We think that Princeton is at the hub of a region that's very good for cycling. It's got access to the Sourland Mountain, to the East Coast Greenway, which is also the DNR Towpath. There are lots of open spaces and interesting historical sites in the area, and we think there's a lot of scope for growth in the cycling network based around Princeton. Discussions of the bicycle route network around Princeton need to take into account the fact that a study or a kind of circulation plan was authored back in 2002 by Charles Carmalt, a fairly well-known transportation planner who is based in Philadelphia. This is what we refer to as the Carmalt Plan, which was not officially adopted but exists and can be found online for anybody interested in reading his recommendations. On this page we show a kind of schematic map showing the main roads in town. We will not use a real map, but usually when describing the bicycle route network we use a kind of sketchy map of this type that should allow you to understand the connectivity of all the different trails and roads and paths. Any discussion of the bicycle route network in the Princeton area starts and ends with the Delaware and Raritan Towpath, or the Canal Towpath, which is now also called the East Coast Greenway, or it's a part of the East Coast Greenway which runs all the way from Maine to Florida. So that's shown in this map as item 1. Item 2 on our map is a safe connection between Princeton and West Windsor parallel to the Dinky Railroad line. Whether that may be Alexander Road, it may be Washington Road, or it may be an entirely new connection using an overpass across Route 1. But the second most important element of the bicycle route network is some kind of connection crossing Route 1 to West Windsor. Item 3 on the map is something we envision, which is a safe connection between the towpath, crossing generally the battlefield, and making a connection down Edgeworthstown to the East Coast Greenway, and ultimately to Rosedale Road and Johnson Park School area. This would be something new, but it would give people an alternative way to get across to the towpath from that part of Princeton. Item 4 on the map is something we envision and we refer to as the Crosstown Bike Trail that would allow bicyclists to travel safely from the area, well, all the way from Province Line Road across to River Road eventually, going past Community Park, past the high school and middle school, the shopping center, and would be mostly a recreational facility that would allow people to go on an outing mostly protected from car traffic to get from one end of town to the other, and ultimately to get to Kingston and the Freedom Trail on one side, or to the Lawrence-Hopewell Trail on the other side of town. On this page we kind of graphically explain what the different elements are of this proposed crosstown bike route, starting at the Kingston end on top, ending at the Lawrence-Hopewell Trail and Province Line Road at the bottom, and trying to provide people with access to some of the important open space areas within town, including mountain lakes and the Princeton Ridge Preserve. The other very important bike facility in the area, aside from the DNR Canal Towpath, is the Lawrence-Hopewell Trail, or the LHT, which is a fabulous system of bike trails and unpaved and paved paths. And part of our goal or vision is to provide access, safe access to people within Princeton to this network. And so that's part of what the Crosstown Trail is supposed to be about, We're not quite sure where the best connection is. We're not sure whether it would possibly use some kind of pipeline right-of-way or an existing street or a new trail. But that's an important part of our vision, is to try to understand and make plans to connect to the LHT and to encourage local cyclists to use this facility. So to recap, item 4 on our graphical map is the proposed crosstown bike trail, whose goal is to provide access to the Lawrence-Hopewell Trail. Let's continue. Item 5 on the map is something that we call the Riverside-to-Dinky bike boulevard, or the idea is to provide people who live in the Riverside neighborhood, say between the lake and Nassau Street, kind of safe access across Harrison and across campus, or possibly using existing roads to the Dinky station and Alexander Road, so that they can get safely to their commuter connections or to campus in a kind of more enjoyable way than may exist right now. Item 6 is a recreational pathway that would cut through the Mountain Lakes open space area and onto the Great Road, and ultimately allow people easier access without doing as much climbing and descending to Province Line Road, so that they can travel over to Hopewell across the ridge without going up and down Elm Road. Item 7 on the map would be a safe crossing of Route 27, other than at the traffic lights at Snowden, so it could be Roper or Poe. It would probably connect the bottom end of Prospect Avenue, or what we mentioned before, which is the Riverside-to-Dinky bike boulevard, and then it would allow cyclists to go down to the bottom of Prospect Avenue, cross Route 27, and then loop back into the Littlebrook neighborhood. Item 8 on the map is a commuter-oriented alternative to Nassau Street that would use the existing system of roads consisting of, going from left to right, Paul Robeson Place, Wiggins, Hamilton Avenue, Rollingmead, Littlebrook. Item 9 is Route 27, or Nassau Street, which is the main route to get to Kingston, and historically the Lincoln Highway. So improvements in this area might include restriping, or lighting, or pothole fixing, or dealing with the fact that cars are traveling at 40 or 45 miles per hour. And there are many aspects to Nassau Street, not only in the former township outer area, but also within the central business district. And so that's an important element of our bike route network planning. Item 10 is Rosedale Road, which is a county road and already has a paved side path on one side of it. But Rosedale Road is considered the main gateway from that side of town, and so will always be an important part of Princeton's bicycle route network. What we show here is item 11 is a kind of recreational trail that would allow a bicyclist to get from, say, Herrontown Road or Smoyer Park area, then across the open space in the general vicinity of Autumn Hill and Camp Tamarack, over to Princeton Avenue and Blue Spring Road, which is part of Montgomery. Then item 12, which is the final element of our vision, would be improvements related to Route 206 going across the ridge, say from Princeton in the area of Cherry Hill, Terhune, over to the corner of Princeton Avenue, where there's high-speed car traffic, and yet bicyclists, especially people who work in restaurant service quite often ride along this dangerous stretch of road, which could be someday widened or improved or made safer for bicyclists. So this concludes the presentation. I hope you've enjoyed this overview or partial explanation of some of the projects of interest to us on Princeton's Bicyclist and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Thank you for watching.